Hello and welcome to Good Clean Gaming. I'm your host Jalindo.
And I'm the wife.
And today we're playing
Human Resource Machine.
Yes, Human Resource Machine. We're a game where you program little office workers to solve puzzles. But be a good employee. The machines are coming for your job from the creators of World of Goo and Little Inferno. So really good pedigree for the people who created this game. I'm really excited about it. And
I'm excited about the little guy dancing over there.
My wife loves this little guy.
He's just so cute.
He's awesome. I like him too. I think he's great.
That's the way Jalindo dances.
I do dancing almost exactly like this. It's amazing. Okay, so let's start the game here. First, we got to select an employee ID. Now, the wife has not seen any of this game yet, so she's going to be completely new.
Have you already played it?
I played a little bit of it just so I am somewhat aware of the gameplay.
Okay.
Okay. I have your photo here somewhere. Which one is yours? Which one is me?
Okay, is that it? Just those four?
Yep.
Yeah, that one has your hair.
Or am I a pigtailed girl? Am I a pigtailed girl?
Well, that's me.
Okay.
But
This one? Or this one?
Yeah, that one. That's
This one?
Oh, but I like the. Let's do the blue guy.
Blue guy.
Blue's
okay.
my favorite color.
Blue is your favorite color. Yes, that photo looks just like you. Here's your badge. Please proceed to the elevator. Okay, so we got this elevator here, and it goes through all the different levels in the game, all the way up, and these levels get quite difficult as you go through them. I've gone through first handful of levels. So this is our first day at work. This is year one on our first day. Each one of those levels you go to is a year in your life as an office worker.
Okay.
So you look like an excellent instruction follower. Your first job will appear over there on the right side in a moment. Remember, you can always ask me for help. So on the left, here's the mailroom. This is our first job is at the mailroom. And we have to drag actions from here into our command line here. And then allow it to do our job. So what it wants us to do is build a program to move everything from the inbox to the outbox.
Okay.
So the first thing we need to do is grab from the inbox. The next thing we want to do is put it in the outbox. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if I just run this program, it's going to grab one from the inbox and put one in the outbox. But that's a problem because we need to grab all three from the inbox and put it in the outbox. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to do that again and do that again. And then we push play and he'll follow through our program. You can see the little arrow that goes down as it follows the lines of code.
Mm-hmm.
And it's moving the green blocks from the left to the right.
Okay.
Nee, Maggio. Mailroom, year one, complete. Your presence is requested on the next floor.
So, is that what you did for your whole first year of your job?
Yes, you did the mailroom. Now we got a busy mailroom, so we're still in the mailroom, but it's even busier. Well, looks like you made it this far. Congratulations on your promotion. Most people stress out and quit before making it this far. But I can tell you have a bright future in inbox-outbox management. Here is your new assignment. Let me tell you, as a certified office worker.
I was going to ask later on how this compares to your actual office job. Because not only have you worked in an office, you've worked in a mail office before.
I can honestly tell you, in the corporate world or in the mailroom, it's all about inbox-outbox management. That's pretty much most of your job right there. Alright, so next we need to grab everything from the left, put it in the right, same thing, but they're going to be different because we got this jump command. So inbox, put the item in the outbox, and then we're going to jump back to 1. And watch him go.
So the jump is telling him just to start over again.
Oh, it tells him to go back to wherever the jump endpoint is. It's like a go-to command back in Basic A from like 1980 something. So I can speed it up a little bit. And he's going to move it all the way across.
Initialize.
Initialize. Sanitize. So that's year 2 of our job. Just watching the years fly by. Copy floor is next. Year 3. Oh no! The inbox conveyor system is completely broken. But that doesn't mean we get to take a break from work. Okay, so ignore the inbox for now and just send the following 3 letters to the outbox. B-U-G. The facilities management staff has placed some items over there on the carpet for you. If only there was a way you could pick them up. So now we have a copy from command. So we can we don't want to mess with the inbox. We can take copy from. We want to grab number 4, which is the B. We want to put it in the outbox. Then we want to copy from 0, outbox. Copy from 3, outbox. And let me tell you, as a programmer as well, this is basically programming.
This is your kind of game.
You're basically programming something.
Now, see, I look at this game and I'm like, why in the world would I want to play a game like this? You're like, oh, I love this.
This is really cool. It basically is. It is a game that it takes, you know, the essence of what programming is and the essence of what being an office worker is, and,
you like
kind of
puzzle
distills
games,
it.
those challenges, you know, and games like that. Me, I'm just like,
Yeah.
give me Bejeweled or some, you know, Clash of Clans, and
You like mindless enjoyment.
yes,
Yes. Okay.
you like the challenge.
Scrambler handler. That's a name. What's this one going to be? The conveyor system is fixed on the left here.
Candy Crush, that was the other one I was trying
Candy
to remember.
Crush
Okay, sorry.
is a huge mindless waste of time, but it's fun. It is very fun.
Awesome.
And just in time for you to get to work. The data won't collate itself. I feel like I've heard that at my job before. Grab the first 2 things from the inbox, drop them in the outbox in reverse order. Repeat until the inbox is empty. You got a new command, copy to. Whatever you like on the carpet, it can be cleaned later. So you get what the instructions are, right? We gotta grab 2 items and then put them on the outbox in reverse order.
Now, what are we doing on the 0, 1, 2?
Well, we can use that area to copy to and copy from if we want to.
Okay.
So, but you understand, we gotta see this 2 and this 8. We gotta get 8 on the outbox first, and then the 2 on there second.
Okay, so how are we going to do that?
We're gonna do that with grabbing 1 from the inbox, and that'll be the 2, and we'll copy that to 0.
I thought we had to do 8 first, then 2.
Well, that's why we're copying it to 0. We haven't put it in the outbox yet.
Okay.
And so now we grab another one from the inbox, and that'll be the 8. We can put that in the outbox
Oh,
And
because
then-
you have to move the 2 first.
to get to the 8.
So you're just going to put it on the carpet just to get it out of the way.
Right.
And then move 8 just directly to out.
That's right.
Okay.
So now we got the 8 in the outbox, and we're going to copy from 0, and then we're going to take that to the outbox, and then we're going to jump to start. Go to 0. See how that works. Gets rid of that old number when the new number gets copied in, just like a computer program. Looks like it's gonna work. Nice. So what do you think?
Very cool.
Okay. All right, the next one's all yours.
Oh, don't do this to me. Just going to embarrass me in front of everybody. Coffee time.
Coffee time. Story time.
Are we really watching people drink coffee?
Everyone.
Hmm?
Back to work.
Regions of the city continue to experience power failure. Local authorities are investigating.
Ooh. Story. There's a storyline in this game. Could you believe it? Rainy summer. Let's jump in there. Ugh. Welcome to my personal rain cloud. I was never very good at math, since I have only 3 fingers on each hand.
Aww.
But I hear you don't actually need to know very much math to complete these assignments. Okay, so we now have the add command, which has just been to add the contents of a tile on the floor to whatever value you're currently holding, okay? So for each of the 2 things in the inbox, add them together and put the result in the outbox. So how would you solve this?
I don't know.
Okay, so first we're going to grab from the inbox, we're going to grab the 0, right? Yep.
Okay.
So the 0's in our hand. So we can copy that to 0 here on the carpet, right? So 0's now on 0.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can grab another one from the inbox, the 2, right? And then we can add those 2 together, the 2 in our hand with the 0 on the carpet. So they're added together.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need to take that to the outbox, I believe, because we should have the added together result in our hand, and then jump to start. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if that worked. I'm not sure if that's exactly right. It should be. 2 and to the outbox. I think it's going to work. Fast forward. Yay! Rainy summer. See, one problem with me playing this game is I actually do a huge amount of programming at work. So this stuff is so far is like really, really simplistic.
And I'm just like, okay, yeah, that sounds great.
But I will say it does get much more difficult as you go along. Like down this line, I did play down this line, so I know kind of the way this one's supposed to go. Who are you? This optional area is for high performing employees only. Is that you? Well, you're late. 7 years late. We need to make some changes around here. I want to see a 100% performance increase. From this point on, your performance will be evaluated with extra scrutiny. He's a likable fellow.
So for each thing in the inbox, triple it and outbox the result. Self-improvement tip. Where are we going with this? Please leave the high-level decisions to management. So for each thing in the inbox,
Yep,
you're tripling it.
that's correct. So 6 needs to turn into 18.
Okay.
Okay, how would you do that?
I have no idea.
So first you have to take it from the inbox, yes?
Yes.
So you have the 6 in your hand.
Yes.
So we can do what to that 6 to get it to start working with it?
Put it on the out.
If we put it in the outbox, that's 6 is not 18, so we can't put it in the outbox.
Oh.
So the first thing we probably need to do is copy it to 0, yes? So now there's 2 6s. There's one in our hand and one on 0.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So now what can we do in order to...
Add another 6.
We can add them together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's add them together. Now in our hand, what do we have? Because we just added 6 plus 6.
12.
So we have 12 in our hand, yes?
And then there's 6 on the floor.
So what do we do to add that 6 to our hand?
I don't know.
We would add again, yes?
You can keep adding?
Yeah, because it's just a copy.
Okay.
So add and add. So now we have 18 in our hand. Now we put it in the outbox. And now we jump to start.
What about the 6 on the floor? If you have all 18 in your hand,
It's a copy.
it's just holding it there.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's kind of like a pointer or a variable in a programming segment.
Okay.
Programming module, function, whatever. Six and -9, and then looks like it's gonna work. So, boop, done.
So why did the -9 go there?
Because it was -3 and it got tripled. -3.
Oh,
-6,
my mind was
-9.
still on 18. I was like, but it's supposed to be 18.
That
But
was
you're
the-
only tripling it.
Yeah, that was the first one. Was the 18?
Right.
Right.
But you're only tripling the number.
Yeah.
It doesn't have. Sorry, my mind was on the 18. I
Okay.
got stuck at the
It's
18.
okay. It's okay. So next is the Octoplier suite. Yes, you can always check your own performance on each assignment's optimization challenges. The 2 green lights next to each button in the elevator will tell you how well you're doing. If there's anything in life, is there anything in life more thrilling than self-improvement? I say not.
So for each thing in the inbox, multiply it by 8 and put the result in the outbox.
Using a bunch of add commands is easy but wasteful. Can you do it with only using 3 add commands? Management is watching. So we're going to try to use only 3 add commands to multiply by 8. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So I think to solve this one, you do inbox, and that grabs the 5 out. Now you want to put that on 0. And there's a 5 in your hand and a 5 on 0. If you then add those together, you have a 10 in your hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you can copy that back to 0 again. There's now 10 in your hand and 10 on 0. And then you can then do another add command, and you have 20 in your hand. Copy that back to 0, and you have 20 and 20. And that, let's see, we need to get up to 8 times that, which is 40, so we just need to add one more time. And now a 40 in our hand, which is 8 times 5. And then we move that to the outbox. And if we jump to the beginning, it works. So grab the 5, copy it to the 0, that's 5 and 5. Add it together, that's 10 and 5. Copy it to 0, that's 10 and 10. Add 0, that's 20 and 10. Copy to 0, it's 20 and 20. Add together, it's 40 and 20.
So
Move
add,
to 40.
copy, add, copy.
Yeah, basically. So let's see if this works. Nice.
Now, did you do it in 3 commands?
Add, add, add. So there's only 3 add commands.
So, okay, so those are the only commands.
Yep.
So what is the copy to? If that's not a command, it's just copying?
No, I have to use 3 add commands. It doesn't matter how many copy commands I make.
Okay.
Woohoo! And then 0 becomes 0, which becomes 0, which becomes 0.
You apparently didn't marry me for my brains.
You are quite smart.
But you do this every day.
I do that. That is, I'm basically cheating.
I haven't done this since high school.
I'm basically a cheater because I do programming for a living.
I didn't even do any of this in college.
So it's very different. You have to start thinking like a coder, and then once you think like a coder, this kind of stuff's kind of fun.
But you're in Mensa too.
That is
you
true.
have an unfair advantage.
That is true.
Mr. Mensa.
That is true. I am very much in Mensa. Yes, that is me. Okay, moving on.
For each thing in the inbox, multiply it by 40 and put the result in the outbox.
I don't even know what to say to that. Sorry. Okay, multiply by 40.
What? That you're in Mensa?
Yeah, how do you even respond to that?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for pointing that out. I love you so much. Multiply by, so take something from the inbox, multiply it by 40, put it in the outbox.
I was trying to excuse my dumbness, by the way.
You're not dumb. You just think differently.
Okay, getting back to the game.
Okay.
Multiply it by 40.
I just want to point out that my wife can speak somewhat of like 4 different languages, and she's calling herself dumb. All right, inbox, multiply by 40. So what do we need to do this?
So, okay, let me just ask you.
Okay.
So are you multiplying the 5 by 40? Or
Yes.
Okay. So you do 40 times 5, and then you're trying to get that result.
Ow.
Oh, sorry.
Punch the mic.
Punch
Good
the.
job.
Oh,
Good job.
first time I punched the mic.
Good job, sweetie.
You
I'm
do in
proud.
like every video.
I will say that I attempted this one. I could not get the perfect solution. I got a solution, but it wasn't the right solution, or wasn't the best solution. So I'm not going to get a perfect solution on this one. But here's what I've got so far. And commenters out there, or you, if the wife has an idea, she can tell me. Mm-hmm. But here's the solution I came up with: was multiplying 5 by 40. Take from the inbox, you get a 5. Mm-hmm. Copy that to 0, you get 5 and 5. Add them together, you get 10 and 5, and then copy to 0, you get 10 and 10. Copy them together, you get 20 and 10. Copy 2, you get 20 and 20. And then
which is 40, right?
No, we got to multiply by 40, so this is going to be 200.
Oh, you're not adding to get to 40.
Right. So where was I at? 5.
You were at 20 and 20.
20 and 20. Okay, so that's 40 and 20. Then 40 and 40. That's 80 and 40. 80 and 80, and then add them together. That's 160. Okay, I think I know where I need to go here. So copy this to 1, and then add 1. I think this will work. So I think this is the way to do it, but this may be the perfect solution, but we're going to go through it mentally real quick. Take the 5 from the inbox, copy it to 0. 5 and 5, 10 and 5, 10 and 10, 20 and 5, 20 and 10, 20 and 20, 40 and 20, 40 and 40, 80 and 40, 80 and 80, and then you have a 4. Got one missing here.
I was gonna say, why did that 1 go down?
It needs to go there, and then there. So this will put the 40 into 1, then 80, and I think this will be 80 and 40, 80 and 80. Add them together, it's 160. Add the 1 that's the 40 in the 1 slot.
Right, because once you got to 40, you moved it to number 1.
Yeah.
So then you can just start copying from 40.
So let's see if this works. If we end up with 200, I did it right. But if we don't, then I'm off by something. So let's see. 5, 5 is 10. 10 and 10 is 20. 20 and 20 is 40. There's the 40. 80, 80, 160 plus 40 gives me... Oh, forgot to put it in the outbox. Missed a step. And this, my friends, is why you debug your code. So you make sure you're going and doing everything right. So let's see, we started out with 2, so this should end up being 80. If I did this right.
Yeah, it was 80 and then 40, it just didn't go to the outbox.
Right, so here, 80 and then outbox. Nice, let's speed it up a little bit. We have a working program, ladies and gentlemen. Nice. Tetracompiler. Did I get the... Oh!
Oh, use 15 commands.
I use 1 too many commands and 4 too many steps. So there is a more ideal solution here. I just don't have it yet. I'm sure I could figure it out if I tried a couple more times. But if you guys know what I missed there, please feel free to post a comment. I'm sure it's something I just wasn't thinking straight with. I'm really gonna have to go back and fix that.
It's gonna bother you, right?
It is gonna bother me a little bit.
See me, I'm like, woohoo, we passed, move on. And you're like, nope. But I understand, because in Bejeweled, if I didn't get all 3 stars,
yeah,
it would drive me crazy. I could not go to the next level until I got all 3 stars.
Yep. So I'm gonna end up going back to it before, as soon as this video is over.
Okay, I understand.
So I'm going to show a couple more levels. I don't want to show too much because, as with puzzle games, once you know the solution, the puzzle's not not as fun anymore. You want to get that initial challenge of figuring out for yourself. So I'm going to go through like 1 or 2 more levels, and then we're going to cut the episode there. So where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? I have a note here from your other boss that says, from this point on, your performance will be evaluated with extra scrutiny. What a treat. Okay, so send all things that are not 0 to the outbox. Yes? You got a new command that it jumps only if the value you're holding is 0. Otherwise, it continues to the next line. So send all things that are not 0 to the outbox. So we have a bunch of zeros mixed in here. Can
you just hold the zeros on the carpet?
Well, see, this may be what we're gonna do. So let's try this. Inbox, we got a 4 in our hand now. We want to move that to the outbox. However, if the object we pick up is a 0, we don't want to do that outbox command. So let's see what happens if we just jump it back to the inbox if we grab a 0. You gonna try that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what that does. And then we have to, if it gets past the inbox, we have to jump back to the beginning. How about that? That's not a 0, that works. That's a 0. Throw it away, throw it away. It works. Nice. 0 exterminator.
Good job. See, that was perfect.
Perfect. 0 preservation initiative. Year 9. We're already almost to our 10-year anniversary of working here. It has come to our attention that the 0 advocacy community felt the previous assignment was not inclusive. This time send only 0s to the outbox. I knew that would get you. It's not unfair. We're unfairly excluding the 0s. What happens to the other numbers and letters? Management leaves that detail up to you. Okay, so we need to only put 0s in the outbox. So let's grab an item from the outbox, and whatever it is, we need to determine if it's 0. If it's 0, we want to do something. Probably want to put that in an outbox. If it's not 0, we want to jump back to the inbox. And then let's put that in the outbox, and then everything else jumps back to the beginning. Does that make sense? So this is code spaghetti that we used to have back in the old days when we had go-to commands. You'd have all these go-to statements going everywhere. But basically what this code does is it picks up an item from the inbox. If it's actually 0, it jumps past this jump that goes back to the inbox.
If not, it jumps back.
Right.
I get it.
So 0 goes to the outbox. 8 gets tossed. C gets tossed. 0 goes to the outbox. It works. Smart code. Hooray. 5 commands. Ooh, 3 extra steps that I would need to eliminate. I'll have to see if there's some way I can eliminate that. That's interesting. Sub hallway. What's in the sub hallway? Year number 11. Subtraction? I never learned that in school. Did you? We're a good team. Okay, so go ahead and read that.
Oh, for each 2 things in the inbox, first subtract the first from the second and put the result in the outbox. And then subtract the second from the first and put the result in the outbox. Rinse, repeat.
So we got a new command that subtracts the contents of a tile on the floor from whatever you're holding, whatever value you're holding. So this one's actually probably going to be trickier because we can't just subtract we can't just grab the second item and then subtract immediately and put the result in the outbox. We actually have to preserve the first value and the second value so that we can then do the subtraction twice, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's grab one from the inbox, copy it to the floor. Grab another one from the inbox, copy it to the second part of the floor. And then we need to subtract. We should have the number 1 item on there in our hand. So we're going to subtract that one from 0. And then that'll put the result in our hand. We'll take that to the outbox. And then we're going to copy from 0, subtract from 1, and then put that in the outbox. And then we're going to jump back to the beginning. Does that sound like it'll work?
Let's just see.
So in this first case, we're going to grab 4. I'm pointing at the screen so nobody can tell what I'm doing.
Yeah, because it says for the first 2 things.
Right.
So the 4 and the 8.
Right. So first thing, we're going to grab the 4. We're going to put that on 0. I have a mouse pointer. Why am I pointing at the screen with my finger when there's a mouse pointer?
I think because you're like just showing me.
Mensa. So grab the 4, put it on 0, and then grab the 8, put it on 1. So there's 4 and an 8 here, but we have an 8 in our hand. So we're gonna subtract 8 from 4 with the sub-0 command.
I thought you're subtracting 4 from 8.
Yeah, we have to do both. We have to subtract the first from the second, then the second from the first.
Okay.
So you subtract the 8 in your hand from the 4, and then the result ends up in your hand. You're going to put that in the outbox.
Right.
And then you're going to grab the item in 0, which is going to be your 4.
Right.
If someone, out of context, if someone's listening to this, it would be just like, this person must be insane. You grab the 4 from 0, and then you subtract the 4 from 0 in your hand from 1, which is 8.
Yeah.
And then you have the result of that in your hand. You put it in the outbox, and then you jump back to start. Let's try it. 4 goes in 0, tosses. 8 goes in 1, subtract from 4, outbox. Grab 0, which is 4, subtract from 8, which is in 1, and outbox. And fast forward. Okay. So that's a pretty good taste of this game, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now there's additional things in this game that I wasn't able to show because then I would show too much of the game, too many of the puzzle solutions and everything. I didn't want to do that. But all the way up, as you go up, things get different. Yeah, you actually get the ability to comment out your code. You get the ability to do multiplication, division, countdowns are here. There's just all kinds of things that you have to do, and you can see that it gets really complicated. Look, sorting floor. That sounds really awesome. Because some of the more interesting algorithms are like sorting and logistics and kind of traveling salesman type algorithms and things like that. And it looks like it gets into some pretty cool little algorithms that you can build just using that simple stuff. It's a fun little game. I think this is great for people who've never experienced programming and want to see basically what it is to be a programmer. In a fun game-like environment. My wife's looking at me like I'm insane, but no, as a game.
I look at this and I'm thinking, in school, like high school, the math word problems, and it's like, oh, jeez.
So this is
with
not...
you're like programming, and I'm like, what's programming? All I'm seeing is word problems. But okay.
So this is my wife points out something. Obviously this won't be for everybody. It works for people who are more analytical, interested. Want challenges and puzzles and logic problems and stuff like that.
But I'm glad that I played it with you because, even though I'm not figuring them out like you did, I feel like I learned something while having fun at the same time.
Yeah, see, that is one really positive thing about this game is that it actually is, you should be having a good time, but at the same time, it is actually teaching you how to be a programmer, basically, which is really neat.
Because once you understand, you're like, yay, I understand it.
So this is how code actually functions. You go line by line and you execute the action on the line, go to the next line. Mm-hmm. So the only thing you're doing when you're trying to create a program is you're trying to create a set of code or set of lines that do the action repeatedly or reliably in a way that gives you the intended result every time. So yeah. Okay, so this has been... Do you remember the name of this game?
Hold on. Human resource something?
Human Resource Machine.
Human Resource Machine.
Good job. And I have been... Who have I been, sweetie?
We've done forgot everything.
No, who have I been? Seriously.
Jalindo?
And you have been...
The wife?
And we've already been playing this, so we already gave the name. And we want people to hit the
subscribe button.
And thank you for
watching.
And feel free to keep doing that. Those two things would be great. Yeah. I really got her laughing now. This is awesome. And
he knows when I start laughing, I can't stop. So I apologize.
All right. So thanks so much for watching. And let me know what you think of the game. And feel free to subscribe and all that stuff. We already sell that stuff. And remember,
keep it clean.